What's up, everyone? Welcome to Power Play with CJ. So we're focusing on, I wrote this for Rand Sports, and I saw it, I tweeted about it, but the possibility of Ryan Miller going to the Anaheim Ducks in free agency. Now, I did that whole thing, and I talked about it here, I talked about it with Rand, the big trade of, Malkin, Kopitar, Fleury, and Quick. I couldn't think, arguably the best part of the trade. I couldn't think of, but with the Kings being 2 wins away from going to the Stanley Cup Finals, even if they don't make the finals or don't win the cup, whatever, I can see it. I don't see that trade happening. Let's be honest. And I thought it was pretty cool to think of it. But let's go with the Southern California thing. And I know I've been lambasted for saying, people have been saying Ryan Miller's never came out and explicitly said he wants to go to Southern California. Yeah, but the feelers have been up there. Let's call it what it is. And the Anaheim Ducks definitely have their goalie of the future in John Gibson. Anderson's a phenomenal talent as well. And you look at the Jonas So's a free agent, and he's going to walk away. He was a good player with Anaheim for a number of years, but at the same time, his time is coming. He's going to leave the Ducks, and that's fine. I don't think it's going to be uh, any hurt feelings one way or the other. But I'm not totally confident in Anderson and Gibson as my number ones going forward. I think Gibson's going to be an amazing goalie, and if he's still my piece in Reds, I think he's the next great American goalie. I mean, that's just the way it goes. But you think about it, Anderson's a great trade chip. It's really going to be a seller's market this year for goalies. Teams need quality goalies. Anderson's proven he can be close to a top number one goalie. You look at it, if they move him and address, some external, you're losing Solani and possibly Koivu. I don't know what the verdict is with Koivu. There's a good chance he's, going to retire. He's an older player, obviously. If you lose those two, there's a lot of production to make up for. You trade Anderson, and then you roll with Gibson and Ryan Miller. Here's my thing with Ryan Miller is he's not a backup per se, but he's not exactly the starter. They can kind of do the co-number one thing, kind of like Tim Thomas and Tuukka Rask for a few years for the Bruins. That worked very well for the Bruins. The Bruins won a Stanley Cup with Thomas as the number one, but Tuukka playing a ton of minutes as well. Being cautious with a young goalie isn't detrimental to anyone. I think using the kid gloves, because this kid Gibson is special. I've been saying that since his World Junior days. He has the it factor. He will be a very, very, very quality, very, very high end, very, very quality. Doesn't make sense. High end goalie for a number of years, and I look at what he's capable of doing long term, and it's like, wow. Having a guy like Ryan Miller there that is also a great American goalie. Maybe I'm pushing the nationalism a little bit too much, but you guys have watched me long enough to know that's kind of my spiel sometimes. Having the two of them together for a couple of years until Gibson's ready to take it on his own. And I'm not being hypocritical here. I know I said I would roll with Gibson at the start of the playoffs. Going with a guy going into a hot hand going into the playoffs is different than saying he's our number one coming into camp. And I think you look at what Gibson did. He played very well in the playoffs. And I know Game 7 was kind of a class, but you don't just pin that on your goalie, whether he's a rookie or a veteran guy, whatever. But I think going forward, Miller wants to play in Southern California, be closer to where his wife works in Los Angeles on Charlie Sheen's show, no less. And I think he can push Gibson to be better, and likewise, rub off the experience and help form probably the greatest duo of American goalies to be on the same team, But I think having, in so many ways, the present and the future USA Hockey on the same team in terms of great international goaltenders is great, and I think that'll benefit the Ducks, and I think can be something that works well for everything. I think Anderson's a great trade chip. I think Gibson's going to be great, but I'm just still want to handle him with kid gloves going forward, and maybe that's just me being pessimistic and cautious. But we've seen too many highly touted young goalies get thrown to the fire and burn. Having a safety valve like Miller to push Gibson and make him better isn't bad for anyone. But that's just my opinion. Call me an idiot, call me a shithead, call me whatever you want, but that's just the nature of the beast. Anyway, that's our episode of the Power Play with CJ on the possibility of Ryan Miller going to the Anaheim Ducks. Stay tuned for episodes for the playoffs and beyond. Later, guys.